It's been 2 years since I joined Real, and so I'm going to do a recap of how much I'm loving Real as a brokerage and why I love being there. Hey everyone, it's Brennen Clouse. I'm your favorite Seattle area realtor, and my previous video was all about why I left Compass and joined Real, and I realized that it was kind of a little bit negative, but I do think well-deserved. And so I wanted to re-record a video now that I am basically at the 2-year mark of being at Real Brokerage and talk about why I love the company, why I love being here, and why I have no plans of changing anytime in the near term. Let's take a little step back. So when I started my real estate journey, I first started at Keller Williams. I was on a team for about 6 months. I learned a ton there. And then I left to go to a boutique brokerage called Avenue Properties. Avenue Properties was amazing, very high-end luxury agents, and I learned a lot there as well. Avenue was then basically bought by Compass. So I became a Compass agent by default and started working as a Compass agent for 4 years until beginning of 2023 when I left Compass and I came to Real. Now, big reason that I left Compass, you can watch the video, we'll link it here, about some of the reasons that I left Compass, but one of the biggest reasons was around the culture and the way that agents were treated and also the finances. So those were big parts of what I wanted to change. But now that I've been at Real for 2 years, there's a lot of things that I really appreciate about Real that I didn't have any idea that I would like. So let's talk about why I like Real after being here for 2 years. In this video, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion based on my personal experience of what I've been through. I'm not gonna tell you about a lot of the cons of Real. I don't think there are a lot, but I'm gonna save that for a different video. So this is going to be all of the positives that I see about Real. So number one is the culture and the community. At Real, there is really a collaborative mindset. I think because Real has started small and grown, I think that the community has been able to maintain that feel that everyone is very kind to each other. Everyone is very helpful. You can feel it. I just went to the annual Rise conference for Real, and you can really feel it in the rooms where you see people willing to talk and engage with each other. And it's really a warm community, I would say. And I don't think I've always felt that at other brokerages. It's not so large that you feel like you're getting lost in the sea, in my opinion. So it really is a strong community, in my opinion. And it's a nationwide community. It's very easy to reach out to other people at Real, and they're willing to share with you. So I've heard that at other brokerages, it depends on who you join the company with, what you get shared. But at Real, I don't feel that way at all. At any given day or week, I can jump into any mastermind and start learning about different topics. And that's one thing I love, is part of the culture and community is training and masterminds. And so there's always something on Zoom available. So if you're wanting to get better at YouTube, or if you're wanting to farm, or if you're wanting to know how to go after expired listings, that's all something you can learn about from other agents in the community who have mastered that and who are doing it at a high level. And that's something I really love about Real. I think it speaks to the collaboration and the community of the company, and I really, really like that. Number two is all around leadership and vision. So I think that Real does a very good job about communicating their vision of the future. They don't just want to be a brokerage. They want to be modern, tech forward, and they want to do things that benefit agents. So one of the most impressive things I think is that Real actually has this forum where you can input different ideas or things that would be helpful to you as an agent. And then people can upvote those, kind of like on Reddit. And the more they get upvoted, the more attention they get, to the point where they've actually become features that have been built. I believe they said at Rise that the Real Wallet was one of those things that originally started as a suggestion from an agent, and then they ended up building it. And now it's one of the most kind of transformational tools for agents at Real. So I think that's very, very cool. Being at Rise is obviously super collaborative, and it gives you a lot of information about the company, but they have shown how AI is going to lead the next kind of evolution of real estate. So not only for help on like contracts and questions about contracts, AI is there to assist you, and they've done a ton of work having all of the designated brokers answer questions, make sure that the answers are recorded correctly so that you can ask AI, you can ask Leo, which is the AI of Real, and it will give you the correct answer. So you no longer have to call a managing broker. You can certainly get transferred to the managing broker after you ask AI if the answer is not satisfactory to you. But I think that it's really amazing that they've done so much legwork to make this beneficial for agents, to make our lives easier. And it just speaks to that evolution that's happening where we're going to be able to do even more work with our time thanks to AI. The other thing is like they're always thinking about how to benefit agents. And so one of the coolest things I think that they've come up with is they're actually creating an award system for when you use things like Real Wallet. And it's now even being implemented into how you use Leo or how you chat with the AI bot. When you do these things like use the wallet, chat with Leo, you're actually getting rewarded with points, and you can use those points to pay back your cap for the company. So you no longer have to pay your cap, which is already very low for the industry. You can use points just because you have enough from using Real's tools and get that paid for you. So basically you could get through a year without paying anything to Real if you're using their tools. That's one of my goals, and I think it's amazing because it really puts money back in my pocket. Now, the third reason this kind of bleeds into it is it's really agent-centric, and the compensation is amazing. So not only does Real have a competitive split structure, it's $12,000 cap annually for a single agent, or if you're under a team lead, your cap typically goes down to $6,000, but you also get stock and equity. So every time you reach your cap, you get a stock award. And if you reach elite agent, you also get a stock award. And I can't even tell you the amount of money that I paid to Compass. I've been paid back in stock by Real, which is incredible because I was paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to Compass yearly. And so at Real, it just feels like you are getting awarded for growing as opposed to just paying more money when you grow. And I think that that's what I felt in the past is like every time I grew, I was just paying more to the company. At Real, it feels like when you grow your business, you're actually getting rewarded and getting money back to you. So that's really amazing. Not only that, but there's so many referral opportunities at Real, and it's a really amazing place to build your business. It's super easy to share referrals as well. And I feel like I have a great network of agents around the country who are at Real, who are willing to collaborate and also help all of our clients no matter where they're going. So I think that's a big reason to be at Real and a reason that I've loved it for the past 2 years. The fourth reason is really around the technology and systems. So obviously Real is cloud-based. Everything is virtual. You don't have an office unless you want to create one or another agent in your market has opened one, but they have the modern technology that you need. So I actually go into the Real app almost daily, but you can see all of your transactions, where they're at, who's a part of those transactions, where you're at in the process of getting through that transaction and the checklist that you need, which is really impressive. Not to mention Leo is in the app. And so I use that app all the time just to make sure everything's on track, to see what's in my wallet, my Real wallet. You can see that on the app and see where each deal is and what stage it's in. I also use that to check on like my commission and where that's going and if it's split correctly with people on my team. This frees up a ton of time for me because it just makes it so simple, and I can check it literally anywhere because I have the app on my phone. I love that. I actually go on to the app on my phone more, I think, than I do the actual website on the computer. So the tech is just incredible, not to mention they're building AI into it. And so I think the vision for the future is that Real is going to see basically AI be able to help make sure that all of your contracts are done correctly, that they're all filed correctly. It's going to be a big help to transaction coordinators, and the ability to do that is going to free up so much more time. Again, back to this theme of like agents are going to be able to do more with AI, more transactions, help more clients, do more marketing because they have that assistance from artificial intelligence. Reason number 5 is all around training, coaching, and the growth. And I see this every day. It kind of goes back to that training where you can hop on a Zoom any day of the week. There's other people, other agents teaching who are super successful in their given niche. And that's really, I think, inspiring, but it's also helpful because you see someone like you who has done it and who's in it. And I think that that is really helpful, especially for me, because I'm like, sometimes I get in this mindset of like, well, I don't know if I can do what they're doing, but you see other agents doing that. There's also just general masterminds. Like there is a social media mastermind where you can go in and hear what other people are doing and hear about how they're approaching different issues in social media and growing their business. That's really impactful, I think, Not to mention there's a ton of training. They've collaborated with other trainers like Jason Pantana. Right now they're doing a series with him. I think they're going to do an Exactly What to Say series as well. So I really feel like coaching that I was getting from Tom Ferry, or do still get from Tom Ferry, is now coming into Real. And that is actually very, very helpful because it really gives me access to that for no additional cost. So to the point where I'm like, do I need coaching anymore? Because Real has so much coaching in-house that is directly applicable to your business. The sixth reason that I really have liked Real for the past 2 years is all around the flexibility and the lifestyle that it gives you. So I specifically decided when I left Compass that I wanted to have a small team. And I think that not only the financial aspect of Real, but also the way that the transactions are managed make having the small team very, very easy. And it makes it super beneficial to not only me, but also my teammates, because they're getting awarded when they hit certain milestones. They have a lower cap. All of those things are really impactful to your individual bottom line and the bottom line of every individual on my team. And so I think that that's really ideal. And it has created not only a better lifestyle for me, because I have to worry less about that and about how much money I'm paying and which office I'm using, and if I have parking at the office, those sorts of things. It really just frees you from all of that and lets you focus on serving your clients better. Other reason I wanted to touch on over the past few years is around the support at Real. So I think sometimes it's easy to get into this mindset of that if you don't have an office and have someone that you can walk to and ask a question, that it's going to be very difficult. But actually, Real has set up support that is very responsive. And so every time I've needed something, like if I've had an issue with the administrative setup on my team or something like that, I've been able to first chat with Leo and ask if they can resolve the problem through AI. And if they can't, then they directly route me to support with a recap of what that problem is. And support gets back to you within the day, if not within a couple of hours. And so the back office power of Real is really impressive because it's been so easy to get responses on that and get help on that. And even going into 2026 now, there's some things that have changed, and their support staff did a training, but also was willing to get on a Zoom with me and teach me about the back end to make sure that I knew exactly how to use it, and also that my transaction coordinator could use it. So the back end support is really awesome and responsive, and that's been a really good thing just to make things easy. Again, giving time back, giving resources back. And then last, just aligning with the right values. So I think that Real does a really good job of aligning on integrity, the desire to innovate, as well as the collaboration piece. And I think that this really gives me a sense of pride in the brand. You know, when I came to Real, I don't think it was as fancy as Compass and maybe not as well known, but I do think that it's on the way to being just as recognized. And I really do feel proud to be part of the brand because of what they're doing. And I often think to myself, there's no other company that I would see myself at this point in my career. So I really do align with that brand and those core values. And that is a big piece of feeling proud every day when I work. So let's talk a little bit. I've told you all about what I think over the past 2 years. Those are the real highlights for me. And like I mentioned, this is primarily meant to focus on the positives and not any negatives. It's Real to me is not just your split, or it's not just the logo. It is really the whole package. It's really the community, the technology, and the model that all come together and really make the deal sweet for the agent. And I see that now being applied to how it's going to make the experience sweet for the consumer. And I think that AI is just the start of that, but I think there are some really cool things that Real has shown about how they're going to make the consumer experience just as seamless as what they've done for agents. And so I'm super excited for that. So, I think Real is for those agents who are looking for a change, who want not only more money back, but they want the collaboration, the community, and they want their time back, and they want things to feel a little bit easier to free them up and go do more business or spend more time with the people that they love. And I think that's what it's all about, right? Being an entrepreneur, you want to build something great, but you also want to relish that time that you're building to get back. And so I think that that's what Real has truly done for me. And so I love it. All of that to say is, it might not be for everyone. If you do think that it could be for you and you want to have a conversation about Real and about what it looks like, I'm happy to talk to anyone one-on-one and talk through what this means and what it's like to be an agent at REAL and how it might change your business if that's what you want. So that was a long-winded way of saying I love it. 2 years later, I love it. I see agents coming over all the time who I've told about REAL, and I just tried to explain it, and it takes some time to understand, but once you get it, it just clicks, and it's an amazing company, and I'm really proud to be part of it. So if you want more information, reach out. There's a link below, and then there's a link in the description. Happy to set up time and talk with you, and thanks for watching this video.